Hello and welcome to the Ipswich Speedway YouTube channel, and I'm delighted to say we're joined by team manager Ritchie Hawkins today. Ritchie, how have you been and what have you been up to?
Hi Henry. Yeah, it's been okay really, mate, sort of compared to a lot of people, and yeah, a bit of work and been missing Speedway, but obviously things are back on the horizon now, and yeah, we can get back hopefully to enjoying ourselves and yeah, see everyone and lots of old faces and friends and that now.
And you've become proficient with Zoom in recent weeks, I understand, doing lots of interviews online.
I would say I'm doing okay with it. I'm getting better. Computers and stuff like that isn't my forte. So, yeah, definitely I've got a little bit better with it. But yeah, it's a bit of a new world to me.
Yeah, very much so. That's the way of the world at the moment. Similarly to the Danny King interview that some of you may have watched, we're going to sort of take you back to start with to sort of pre-2020 season, and I just wanted you to talk us through the team building for that team. Obviously, you'd kept Danny and Cam to sort of discuss how easy it was to bring those back in, and then of course putting the rest of the team together for 2020. Obviously, Jason Crump was the headline signing, and Nikolai Clint, Drew Kemp, Nico Gavati, Jake Allen, and of course Danny Ayres. The news that must have been a real shock to you. But talk us through a bit about the team building exercise for last season, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're coming off a very good season. We see the areas we wanted to improve on. Yeah, obviously, Danny and Cam have been at Ipswich a long time and very solid. Cam was obviously coming off a very good year. So yeah, he's obviously was on the team sheet very quick, and like Danny, I think he for a captain and someone solid rider come back as well for he come back well. I thought from having a whole year off the year before, pretty much with injury, coming back, and he was getting back into it. And I think last year, having another year off's probably not helped, but yeah, he was getting back into it, and I think he had improvement there still in his average. But solid captain, dependable. You can't sort of and I think you need to make sure you have riders that like riding for your club and sort of keep that consistency as well. So, and then obviously, yeah, Jake was probably the first name down on the team sheet. So yeah, it was superb. Had a great year, fit in really well. I think everyone at the club enjoyed working with Jake. So yeah, I think he was probably first name down, and then yeah, we kind of built from there. It obviously took a little bit longer than you'd hoped, same as the year before, to be fair. But yeah, bided our time a little bit, and then yeah, how we got Nikolai. Once Nikolai become available, he was signed pretty quick. Managed to do a deal, and Nikolai really sort of kicked on the last few years at Poole, and obviously goes very well at Vauxhall. So very pleased to have Nikolai, and and then you are fitting in around it, and obviously we kind of knew we wanted to have Danny in the team, and we were so excited to have Danny Ayres in the side, and what he could bring to everyone really, and yeah, I think it was from a speedway point of view, I think he would have done very well up to his average and that, but not just that, just as a person and a personality, and someone we felt spend time with and work with and help, and it would have been brilliant at the club, and obviously it was devastating for us all, and yeah, tragic. And I think to then have a year away from Speedway, where obviously he had his big meeting planned and stuff for him, and I think it's kind of was hard a little bit in that way. I think it had been good that we could have done some stuff at Ipswich last year and obviously take part in the meeting and everything, and then proper sort of remembered him then, and obviously we've missed out on that last year, but I'm sure there's something we can do this year. Yeah, so then around sort of the same time, really the thing with Crumpy and knowing his availability and being able to work out a deal and everything, everything fell into place there pretty quickly. So yeah, to get into sign Jason is massive, obviously, at the club, and we obviously talked about it last year. And yeah, really excited to have, you've got one of the greatest riders ever to be in Speedway, to race for your club. And I know obviously he's coming out of retirement. He's been away a long time, but I think everything he brings is you can't put a price on that. So yeah, I think it's obviously a massive signing. And then obviously a spot was available for Drew as well to come in together. So yeah, very, local lads, what you want to do, you want the local, if you can bring local talent through, and he's obviously an exceptional talent and superb. When he come in to the championship a couple of years ago on his 16th birthday, really, he was superb, exceeded expectations massively. So yeah, obviously, to get to have local young riders in the teams, what you want. And obviously Nico we know very well, and was delighted to have Nico back and work with Nico again. And he's had a good few seasons at Ipswich now, and is loved by everyone. So yeah, we were so happy with the team. I think it was shaped up really nicely, and was excited to get going and build on 19, but obviously it wasn't to be.
Yeah, as you're saying, that the team had gone down very well with not only Ipswich fans, but obviously a lot of people excited to see Jason in 2020. So then fast forward to press day, and I guess there was kind of a cloud over the season at that point, and people weren't sure what was going to happen. What were you thinking was going to happen with the 2020 season, and what was it like? I guess because all the riders were probably asking you and Chris what's going on, and it's probably hard for you two to update as well, because you probably didn't know anything more.
No, I think at the time of the press day and that, we decided to go ahead, and everything at the time was a little bit, we weren't certainly in nowhere in my mind did I believe we were going to be here today still talking about it and not get any Speedway, and, not even be started in end of April the following year. No way did I think it was going to come to that. I thought really the expectations of a couple of months or the target dates that BSP put on it, I thought was very realistic, and that it would happen. But obviously it went the other way, and we didn't see any racing. So there was a press day. I think we knew we weren't going to start on the first meeting, which made it hard, and to sort of the unknown. But yeah, it was should have been very, very exciting. Obviously, there's obviously already a little bit of a sadness or cloud over everything with sort of with Danny sort of not being there anyway. So obviously this as well didn't help. But it was one of them really. He's sort of everyone, we're just in the unknown, and everyone had their own opinions, but yeah, here we are now.
What was when the decision was finalised that there was going to be no league racing? What was your mindset? Obviously, you're not a rider these days, so I guess it wasn't kind of like other riders that are immediately looking for other work because you work during the season anyway. But did you just totally switch off from Speedway and focus on work?
Yeah, I'm probably not 100%, but yeah, a lot of it probably kind of kept my head down as well. I think a lot of people did that. Tried to keep a little bit in touch with the boys as well, but and be there if anyone wants to chat or support or anything. But yeah, I kind of just concentrate on the work, and it's mad really when you can't really spend a whole year waiting for something. You kind of need to focus on other things as well. So yeah, concentrate on the family and working, and for me personally, not being at Speedway probably helped me focus on sort of work a little bit more with the business and a bit more time to spend building that up, which has been going well. So that's been good, and we moved house, and only we'd had another baby, so we got a little baby in the house at the time as well. So we've moved house since and stuff. So it's kind of the kids keep you busy anyway, and and work and everything. So I was lucky really. I could carry on working most of the time, even if it was just 1 or 2 days a week to start with. But yeah, on the whole, I've carried on working most of the time, so that was good.
Yeah, good to keep busy when there's nothing really to look forward to. But I mentioned it on the call to Danny as well. You kept yourself busy as well during lockdown. I remember the Hawkins obstacle course in the garden. I remember seeing press up challenges, and as I said to Danny as well, you did the golf day, which raised £1,240 for Macmillan. But what I want to know is who is the best golfer out of the three of you, Cam, Danny, and yourself?
Well, I would say that Cam's probably the most talented, but I can get into Cam's head like that and he'll be done. So I think I can be, I can beat Cam any day because I could just get in his head. If it was just on talent, I think he would win. He's super talented. Cam would be the best, but you don't see it when he's playing against me. But Danny plays very well. He hits the ball a long way, but it's just whether he gets it straight or not is a 50-50 on that. And then I'm a bit slow and steady. I don't need it that far, but I try not to lose a lot of balls because I'm tight. So.
As we know, if viewers don't know, he's waiting to get his hair cut. He doesn't want to pay for it twice before a Eurosport shoot for ahead of the new season. But taking it back to Speedway, were you fearful about keeping the 2020 team together? Obviously, rule changes have their impact anyway, and obviously then there's the Poland thing where riders are restricted on how many countries they're going to be in. So I'm sure you were probably expecting you had to make changes, and then throw in the fact that there's travel restrictions as well. So what were you thinking about when obviously Nico and Jake said they weren't going to be riding, and how did you then go about rebuilding the team for 2021?
Yeah, I think it become quite clear to us that we probably knew quite early on that the points limit is going to be less, mainly due to Poland. Really, I suppose to start with would have been the first consideration that that they know they're going to restrict their riders and stuff. So we've not got an abundance of riders at the moment. So we kind of knew that was going to happen. Nico give us a lot of notice pretty early on and said he wouldn't be returning this year, which completely understand. And when Nico's ready to come back, which I'm sure he will come back at some point, obviously if there's a spot available, we could use Nico. We would do it given the chances. So that was a shame, but so we're kind of your two minds whether you keep building and keep filling without really knowing the full rules or what you're going to do. There was a lot of putting possible plans in place without being able to do anything, and possibilities and whatnot. So then that took a lot longer, I suppose, then to finalize sort of what the points limit was going to be, and then sort of more maybe who would be available and who wouldn't and whatnot. So
talk us through the process of the actual team building itself, because in other sports people have scouting networks and they have people looking at players and telling managers, but I guess in Speedway that doesn't exist to that level. But what do? Do you have a list of riders that you just go through and put circles around or whatever? How do you actually decide on your riders you want and how it all fits in?
Yeah, obviously there's the green sheet averages, so that we get like on a little book that we've got, so that's got everyone's average and every rider that's rode obviously on the previous year, or we've got them from other years. So you will become aware of other riders' availability through either the official ways. They can notify, or you might get a tip, or you might know the riders. Obviously Speedway's quite a close family. We all know each other, and I've known most of the people. The amount of teams I rode for, I've probably rode most of the boys as well at some point. So you kind of all know each other. I suppose when Paul made it clear they was going down to the championship, then you've immediately got 7 riders, depending on their availability, available then for other teams. And yeah, it's kind of a little bit working out what you've got left and then who's going to fit in. But obviously with us, we knew somebody else was going to have to leave, so kind of we were sort of checking with everyone to make sure they would be back. And at the time, Jake couldn't. He didn't say he definitely didn't want to come back, but he couldn't guarantee coming back. At that point, we decided we needed to move ahead with our plans, because it was no good sort of. Obviously, everything's gone really well, and the vaccine's done really well, and things are looking very rosy now. But in February, that wasn't the case. So we didn't want to get to this point, and if everything hadn't gone well, Jake says he's not coming back, which would be understandable anyway, and then be stuck without being able to fill the spot. So we decided to move ahead, and sort of as well as that, if Jake would have wanted to stay, maybe someone else would have had to go, or it's impacted on other people, and also give anyone else, if it would have been the case of giving anyone else a chance to get another team as well. So you kind of got to take all things into consideration. But I'm very, very pleased now with sort of where we're at, and it kind of with having we had to change 2 riders, and with having 2 not being available to come back, that kind of made our minds up, or made that job easier.
What was it about Anders Rowe and Jordan Stewart that made you want to sign them?
I think I actually looked at Geordie before 2020 as someone to potentially come in. When I think really when Swindon come in, I'm sure Swindon will pay him. Could offer him a better deal, I'd say, than us, or they could probably have guaranteed him a job at the time. So where we were still building at that point. So to know Geordie was keen to come back from Australia and definitely wanted to commit to come back. He was very good on that, on his average. I think to come in on an assessed full is someone I like the look of. So that was kind of, he was keen. We looked at other options as well of what to do with our remaining points limit, or how things are going to work out. But yeah, very, very pleased to get Geordie. And then, we've obviously used a lot of our points limit up with Nikolai and Jason now. So yeah, I looked at all the options. If, maybe we needed to make another change somewhere else, or, someone else would have to go and would have to make big changes. But this one sort of, stood out as the best way to go. And obviously being able to have Anders, I think we've got on the draft system, we've got 2 of the best lads that were on the draft. Anders had a good year in 19, really, when he made a step into the championship, and I think he did some skidding last year as well in Poland. So he kept riding, and he was ultra keen. And I know he rang us, but I think he was ringing everyone just to get a job, and he wants to race Speedway and progress. And so that kind of, when we needed a 3-pointer and he was still available, then that kind of fell into place.
Going a little bit off topic here, before you were a team manager as a rider, how well did you know the rule book? And as a team manager, you have to know that inside out, don't you? So how hard is it to know all the rules and regulations and what you can do as a team manager?
I think as a rider, you know quite a bit, to be fair. I suppose when you're experienced and you sort of the basic rule book has been probably the same for quite a lot of years. It's just always little adjustments every year that you'll be informed of, or whatnot. I mean, I know sort of from my riding days, one year you could use a wheel disc, one year you didn't have to, one year next year you probably did have to, or a lot of change the helmet colours, didn't they, at one point? But little things, there's slight changes to the rule books this year to different things that riders might be allowed to not do, or can do or not do. So then that's my job, obviously, to make sure them riders don't fall foul of that rule. Kind of like we've had the riding on the centre green in recent years, I suppose, that not being allowed, or the wrong way around the track. If you're late on 2 minutes, or the 2-minute rule's been adjusted a few times. So Yeah, I mean, that's not, not that hard to keep up on. I mean, to be fair, the basic rules are okay. I think it's when you get on the night, like meeting rules on the night, I think it's more probably you're looking at complicated things more probably with team building or stuff like that, or maybe converting averages and etc. For guests or whatnot, or so that could be maybe a little bit difficult. But I mean, to be fair, most of the refs, if you wanted to, you can go up to the ref and just question something and see what his take is and whatnot. But yeah, you can, like, the rule book seems really complicated, but actually, if you break it down, it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's definitely something you, as a team manager, you have to keep on top of. And looking ahead to this season, obviously Kings Lynn away on the first day of the season, local derby. We haven't had Speedway for so long. Everyone's looking forward to it. Obviously, I know your comments on the match the other week caused a stir in Norfolk, but you're a manager as well that whenever I've interviewed, I was in Speedway, we always say, home form is so important. But your manager has always said the away form is equally as important because there's more points up for grabs, isn't there? So in a shortened league, as you say, it is a huge match to start, and you want to be going there and winning.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get off to a good start, you got a big advantage. Obviously, like in 2019, we took 2 4-point wins at Peterborough, and that was massive, really. To take, we had 14 points out of 14 there, so them 2 big 4-point wins at Peterborough was, to keep us in the playoffs when our form slipped. That cushion we had from them wins was massive, and picking points up on the road is really important. And it's opening night and anything can happen, but yeah, you've got a target going to Kingston for a win, and so opening night could play into their hands or it could play into ours. I don't know, so we'll see as it goes, and you never know before then what's going to happen, even with the team still. It's, things are so up in the air at the moment, what's going to happen or anything can happen. I mean, one year we never rode the one match. I think, what year was that? The year I think we lost the playoff final in the championship, but I don't think we rode one match that season with our 1-7 that we had on press day. So
yeah,
things can change so much.
Yeah, and as a manager, do you study the fixture list when it comes out? In other sports, some managers might look at it and set points targets for each month, or do you do the cliched sort of meeting by meeting, you just take it a game at a time?
I think maybe you're looking at it a bit more towards the end of the season, in the playoff race or whatnot. Where you sort of feel you can go and pick points up, but also in I think as the years have gone on in Speedway, like anyone can sort of win anywhere on their day now, and the leagues are a lot tighter, and you get people winning home and away. Like, I mean, when I first started, it was kind of, if you lost at home, you needed to go through the season unbeaten at home if you had any chance to win the league. So, and then pick up a few away wins. But now it's kind of, I bet that hasn't happened for a long while. So, we need to be, but if we don't win at Kings Lynn, it doesn't mean anything. It's not a massive disaster either. You just got to pick the points up somewhere else, which we should be quite capable of doing.
What's your outlook on the Premiership this season? Do you study teams, or do you just focus on Ipswich?
Focus very much on us and what we're doing, and if we perform to our best abilities, then we should be winning matches. But yeah, I know what, who's in the other teams, and obviously we there's the other factor of, you don't know how people are going to come back from a year off now, how people are going to, what riders form really, or who's going to, how things are going to be. So there's going to be some tough meetings. I think our opening home meeting will be tough, but to be fair, they all could well be tough this season, and the league could be very, very tight. But 6-team league, we've got four into the playoffs, so we're the biggest club in East Anglia, so we've got to be, we'll just carry on with that, and we'll be in the playoffs, won't we?
that should rile a few more up in the rest of East Anglia. But another aspect of Speedway, team spirit, and as a team manager, how do you go about building that? I ask this because obviously riders change clubs a lot. They ride for different clubs on the continent and in England. So how do you create that team spirit? Because it's something we've always had in our sides under yourself.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what we try and do. It's something I enjoyed, like when I was racing as well, is kind of being with the lads, and that's something I probably miss, is the banter in the changing rooms, or that kind of camaraderie. So we kind of try and get everyone all together. I know when the boys, a few years ago now, started to have a kick about footy before the meetings and stuff like that. That was good, and it depends as well on who you've got in your team, and that's something we look at as well. People that are going to fit in and fit in with everyone else, and that's something hopefully we've achieved this year as well. I think it helps Ipswich. We've got a good bunch of guys. Your mechanic as well, they're very important to everything. If your mechanics are all getting on and everyone's getting on, it makes life a lot easier. I definitely think one of the reasons we did so well in our first year back in the Premiership is we kind of still had that. The Championship's more fun than the Premiership, as in, it's not quite so serious, and the boys aren't flying in and out all the time from the continent. So I think we kind of kept that Championship mentality or outlook on things, and we were riding for the team. And I strongly believe that the boys that are coming in, if they buy into the philosophy and buy into it and be a part of the club and want to be a part of the team, not just individual, they will actually perform better as an individual and will gain more from it than just focusing on themselves. So maybe managing different riders individually and stuff, but as a whole, it's very important.
You kind of led into the next question actually on sort of motivation and judging characters, and it might seem a silly question because obviously speeder riders, you're paid by the points, so you're already motivated in that sense. But how do you motivate your riders? Because it's not like other sports as well, where you can say, I'm going to leave you on the bench next week, or obviously of course they're motivated already because of financial gain, and also they're racers, they want to win races. But how do you go about motivating?
Yeah, I think when you see people maybe, and you would say they maybe didn't feel motivated, or they didn't look that way, I think it's probably more a confidence thing. I think that's probably more than anything. I don't think there's a lot of, I need to win this race to earn this X amount of money, when there is, and I have seen it, I don't think it works that way. You want to win races because you want to win races. It's not like, I've earned enough money today, I'll just have a second in the next one. That's kind of not your mentality. I think a lot of it is if a rider feels good, if they've got confidence, believe in themselves, that sort of is more, you will then see the rider maybe look more motivated or whatnot. I think that's kind of, that would be more of a confidence and feeling good about yourself and happy with your surroundings. I know from my own experience of riding and maybe not being happy at club or not enjoying it so much, of not performing so well, but that's not because I went to the tapes in any other mind other than obviously I wanted to win the race or wanting to earn some money. But obviously an example was then when I come to Ipswich and first time for Ipswich and just felt at home and happy, it's just immediately you kind of got a boost, and that's not kind of, I want to win for someone else, I don't want to win for you. It's just a natural thing that you probably feel better about yourself. So if everyone's happy, racing Ipswich, happy in themselves, I think that'd be the best way of getting the best out of them.
And has your view on team managers changed since you've become a team manager? I don't know how much importance you place to them as a rider and to many outsiders from the sport as well. Obviously, the races are programmed. They might think, what's the team manager doing? But has your view changed in it since you've become a team manager?
Well, obviously, I've seen my dad do it for many years as well when I was a kid. So I think it's a position that it's probably not seen as maybe as important out from the outside, maybe looking in as it is. I mean, it depends really. I mean, I've rode for team managers that really didn't do a lot, and there's was quite a lot, I suppose, back in the day that really didn't do a lot, just fill the program in. But then obviously I was as well certain managers that knew how to get the most out of me, and I think I'd have probably thrived a bit better for having more team manager, maybe a little bit harder on me, or expectations, or a little bit more involved. But I think the sport has progressed as well. The professionalism in the sport has progressed massively since I finished riding. It's still progressing, and I think the manager is now maybe that is taken more serious or more important, and it's kind of I enjoy it, and there's probably more going into it than you see from the outside.
I was going to say, actually, that was my last sort of question on management. Are you enjoying it? We're recording this on the weekend where the social media blackouts to stand against abuse and discrimination online. So are you enjoying it? Obviously, as a manager, and as any sportsman, you're open to criticism, but how are you finding it? Are you enjoying it? And I'm sure you've had your critics since you've started as well. You just get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, to be fair, on the whole. Yeah, I think it's great for me to still be involved. I mean, I think I'm learning all the time, take it serious. I take it personally when we lose, and you can get down, and I get a bit fed up, and it's kind of, I think on a Friday, my mood's probably depending on my Friday morning when I go to work. That's sort of it depends on our result the night before, and it stressed me out when we lose, and I want to improve and think maybe we could do things better here and there. And online criticism, I think, I've seen some things that I don't like for maybe other people. Me personally, it's not something I spend too much time worrying about, but I'm not that kind of on social media, or not that active or up on it, or anyway, I think only started doing the Twitter from pure peer pressure from Mike Bacon to get one when he was here, and said I should do it and it'll help the club and stuff. So it's kind of, it's understand. I mean, I think a lot of the times there's a lot of stuff you can't speak about as well. Like, I couldn't say I've done this decision for this reason, because either that's going to affect the rider that's gone in or come out in a different way, and it might do further on, or I didn't do this for this reason. I don't, so you can't come out of everything. So, it's understandable that people sort of make their minds up and themselves. But, I'm quite confident that everything I do is what I believe is the best for Ipswich Speedway and the team, and what will be every decision will be in a view of making the playoffs, not necessarily winning that night. It will be in a view of winning the playoffs, and so that will be the ultimate goal of every decision. And I think without sounding funny, I think I've had 4 seasons as manager at Ipswich and made 2 playoffs finals, and Ipswich never made a playoff final before I took over. So it is what it is. I can understand everything. I can understand it, and I just think when it gets personal, it's probably when it goes too far.
So 2021, I'm probably going to answer for you here, but I'm guessing you're going to tell me the aim is to get in the playoffs and go that step further and win it this year for the Witches.
Yeah, the aim is to win the playoffs. I mean, we wouldn't be starting otherwise, but I think it's, you look at 6 teams, it's still it's a big ask. I think it's, it's going to be tough, and this year is going to be one of them where it could end up being a little bit of a lottery, in the sense of who's going to end up here, what's going to happen. The world, we don't know, what's going to happen in the world at the moment. But just very excited for everyone to see everyone get back racing, get back to normal, and I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll be buzzing to see a lot of the supporters and everybody through walking through the pit gate for the first time in a couple of weeks on a Thursday, seeing Straubs, and then sort of meeting everyone from there is I'll be buzzing to catch up with everyone.
And we record this on Friday the 30th of April, and as a big Peterborough United fan, it's a big weekend for Peterborough. Have you got champagne on ice?
Yeah, 45 minutes from getting through Tuesday night. So I was texting my mates and saying, we're nearly there. You coming down? We're kind of London Road, and then just watching the second half, and it's gone 2-1 2-2. But I think the Posh are in a very strong position. So we need a point from the last two games, or Lincoln not to win any of their three. So So I did have a couple of quid on Ipswich to get promoted through the playoffs, but that's looking lost nowadays.
I'm sure you'll be celebrating on the end of by the end of this weekend, and we hope that Ipswich Town can join you in the Championship after next season. But I'll leave the last word with you then. Just a message for the supporters who are all can't wait to be back at Foxhall.
I hope you're keeping all well. Can't wait to see you in a few weeks. The boys are going to need your support, so we've been starved of racing, so we'll put on as best entertainment we can for you, and looking forward to seeing you all there.